Hey guys, Tinker Tailor here with another, what is this called? Pokemon build series. This video, I'm not gonna lie, I did procrastinate a little bit to record because it was so long. But we're here now and I'm not mad. I enjoyed this build. It's kind of a little bit I don't want to say feral, but almost feral. The vibes here are sort of, it started off as like somebody who wanted to live completely by themselves, not reliant on anything or anyone, and then it slowly morphed into that person has started a cult. Um, so yeah, it was very interesting, very strange, very weird, but nonetheless enjoyable. Um, and this is based on the build. The build. The build is based on the Pokemon Kakuna. No, Weedle. Kakuna is next. Look, I've been dealing with so many different Pokemon over the last couple of days. They've all just blended into one. Weedle is kind of like a weird little centipede, millipede type creature. Um, it to me looks like a bunch of donut balls, like think of like a jam donut, but very circular, and just a bunch of them with these tiny little stubby feet. And a spike on the head and on the tail. It is a bug poison type, and it is is it a base evolution? I think that's the correct term. If you're a Pokemon fan, definitely let me know if I'm using the correct terminology or not. But basically, this Pokemon doesn't. There's no Pokemon before it that evolves into it. It is the start of the evolutionary line. And then the next two Pokemon are the ones that are the evolutionary line of Weedle. So yeah, if you don't know Pokemon, sometimes there's two, sometimes there's three, sometimes there's no evolutions. Um, but yeah, most of the time I would say there's three. I reckon most of the time there's three, then there's two, and then there's none. In that order of like popularity? That's not the right word. What's the word for, I keep thinking recommendation, but that's also not the right word. The word for order of appearance, order of likelihood, probability, that's the word. Um, yeah, so definitely a lot of Pokemon have three, but yeah, it's less have two, and then even less have none. Um, well, when I say three, I'm including the base Pokemon. So technically it's two evolutions, one or none, not three, two, none. It's two, one, none. But anyway, I'm sure plenty of you already know that, and I'm just rambling nonsense, but you know, that's me, that's normal. Also, if I sound slightly different, which I probably won't all that much, but if I do, just in case, it's because I am not sitting on my own chair, I'm sitting on a storage cube, and because it's got no back support, I'm sitting like a shrimp, a shrimp. I say a cucumber, but that's really not at all what I mean. I mean a shrimp. I'm prawning it up in here. And that is because Macy is asleep on my chair right now. Usually she'll sleep on my desk and sit half on my keyboard, half not, which is great, great fun when I'm trying to work and she's just randomly typing. I don't know what the key's called, but the one beside the one above the tab key on a QWERTY keyboard. That one. She loves to, that's her favorite one. Her second favorite is the escape key, which is also not fun. Because a lot of the time when I'm building and things like that, she'll just remove me from the world I'm in. Not sorry, not the world, the build I'm in to go to world view, which is not what I wanted to do, but you know, apparently she did, and I can't get too mad at her. She's just trying to have a little snooze. It's not my fault the escape key's in her way. But sometimes when she's asleep on the desk and I leave the room, she will jump down onto my chair and fall asleep. It's not all that often. In fact, this is the first time she's done it in probably a month. Um, but yeah, she's there she's gonna sleep there for a while, and I'm just gonna have to deal with that. I could pick her up and hold her or put her back on the desk or whatever, but honestly, I don't mind. She is absolutely adorable and has my whole heart and soul, and she can get away with basically anything and everything. She's very well behaved. It's very rare that she's not. She doesn't, tear around the house at 3 a.m. waking everyone up, or, get into things that she's not supposed to, or anything like that. She rarely tries to steal food as well. Like, she's just a really, really well behaved little creature. And I'm proud of her. I'm happy she is. She's just so sweet. Although whenever it rains, she does love to sit outside in the rain, and I'm like, "You're gonna get sick. Could you please come inside?" Although to be fair, she doesn't sit in the rain. She just likes to sit outside under cover when it rains. But then to get inside, she has to run through the rain, so she comes inside all soggy. And I have to dry her down because I don't want her getting sick. And she tries to run away from me because she doesn't like me trying to dry her, but she doesn't like being wet. And I don't really want her leaving, like, she'll try and jump in my bed, and then she'll leave, like, dirty little paw prints all over my bed. Or she'll try and jump on my desk, and then I have to clean my desk, but she doesn't like the scent of wipes I use to wipe down my desk. So it's just this whole thing of, like, try and dry her before she gets inside. Or before she gets anywhere that she's gonna make dirty. But yeah, she actually kind of let me dry her this morning, which is good. And now, yeah, she's snoozing it up. She loves having little naps beside me, and I really appreciate that. I think it's super sweet and super trusting. We have a little system in the morning where she will yell, I will wake up, I will go feed her, I'll go back to bed. Usually I'll go to the bathroom while she's eating, and then I'll go back to bed, and by the time I go back to bed, she comes and plonks herself down on my bed, and she's twitching in her sleep. That is so cute. But yeah, she'll come plonk down in bed with me, and she'll have a nap, and I will process being awake. Usually I'll hang out with some people in stream and just say hello and whatever, and they all know that I am barely functioning, barely alive, barely awake. And so yeah, they'll be like, "Oh, hello. I hope you have a lovely morning, even though you're barely alive. Just chat whenever you feel alive," and I will. And then I'll get up, and she'll either stay in bed asleep, or she'll come into the office with me and fall asleep on my desk. She has to nap. It's the law. It's mandatory. But then after she naps, she'll go what Onion likes to call spelunking outside, which is basically just her going outside. She does it every time she eats. She'll go outside, hang out and chill out there for a bit, and then come back in. And she does it after dinner as well. And yeah, then we repeat the next day. I like it. It's a good little system. I always know where she is. And I know people get worried about cats being in the backyard. And I totally get that. Cats being outside, it stresses me out to no end. But she's really, really, really good. She doesn't really go outside of our yard all that much. Two of our neighbors have fences that have a little gap in between them, so she likes to hang out in there because really just herself in there. There's no other pets that can get to her or anything like that. And she's also not interested in wildlife. I understand that cats and wildlife are a big issue, but she rarely goes after. In fact, our chickens are more a danger to the wildlife than Macy is. So, she's a pretty good girl. Doesn't really like, she used to bring in lizards every once in a while. Doesn't really do that anymore, which is good because I don't really like having to rescue poor little lizards from her because they're never dead. They're never dead. She brings them to me so that I can kill them. She's trying to teach me how to hunt, but she's gotten to the understanding that I don't hunt. and I don't need to hunt, and it'll be okay. So she stopped kind of bringing lizards in the house a while back. Yeah. But yeah, she is, like I said, snoozing it up right now and still twitching in her sleep. And you know what? One day because I do stream as well. One day I do want to have a kitty cam so that I can have a little cam of her snoozing in the corner. I still have to figure out how a bunch of things work. I am technologically illiterate. It's pretty bad. There are some things that I've set up that I'm pretty sure if other people came and looked at it who are even just average at technology would probably cry a little bit. I don't know how it'll get set up. I don't know how it all works. There are things that I know people have done and I just don't understand how they did it. And it's I'm probably just gonna have to message these people and be like, hey, you know how you did that thing? How did you do that thing? I don't understand. So yeah, it's interesting for sure. I'm slowly but surely figuring out how these things work as well. Like I use OBS for a lot of things, especially over on Twitch. I mean, even now I'm using OBS to voice this video. And I just these things I'm like, oh, people do that. Like figuring out how people have transitions between their videos. Between their scenes took me 752 years to figure out. But now that I have figured it out, it's still kind of glitchy and I'm still trying to figure out how it works. But yeah, honestly, if you know anything about me, I am not the greatest with tech, and there's never going to be a time where I am, and I'm kind of okay with that, but at the same time, it's kind of frustrating. I do try my hardest to not be such a grandma when it comes to tech, but it's just not really my thing. Also, this build uses a lot of packs. I apologize for that. This is why the starters are definitely pack restricted, because some of the builds like this one, I don't pack restrict. I just do unlimited building. So for this one, we have Life and Death. Oh, what's that one? It's the one that came with the Tomarang world. I'm so bad with names with the worlds. I have to pull up James Turner's website with all the packs in it. Where is it? Here. I think it's this one. I should just keep this one starred because or favorited. What's it called? For Rent. Of course it is. So sorry, let me try that again. It's got Life and Death, For Rent, Horse Ranch. Get the Family, Growing Together, High School Years, Cottage Living, Snowy Escape, sorry. Eco Lifestyle. Oh my goodness. Discover University, Island Living, Get Famous, Cats and Dogs. By the way, Cats and Dogs are the first ever DLC I got, and I got it with the base game. That was when there's a sale on for Cats and Dogs and base game, and I got them, like, it was a bundle, I guess, and I got them together. It was good. So that was my first ever pack. City Living, Get Together, Get to Work, Werewolves, Batuu, what's that one called? Journey to Batuu. StrangerVille, Jungle Adventure, Dine Out, Outdoor Retreat, Laundry Day Stuff, and what's that? Basement Treasures Kit. So yeah, a lot of packs. I mean, compared to some of the earlier ones, like the second build I did just had Island Living. So, you know, some of these builds are very, very restricted. Some of them are very, very much not. So yeah, I hope that that's okay with you guys. I am trying to mix it up so that there's a bit of everything. I'm not sure about doing like starter homes or budget homes yet. That's not really something I've looked into, but it's probably something I've accidentally done. It's for sure, yeah, something I've definitely accidentally done with some of my builds. This one, probably not. This one's probably a bajillion. Oh, maybe not a bajillion simoleons, but still a decent amount. And still at this point, I'm thinking it's an individual who lives in this house and yeah, just has like this big old farm by themselves, or maybe with like a small family, because they don't like they're very isolationist. That was the vibe I was going with. I believe the term or the phrase I used to describe the inspiration for this build was isolationist farm. And I guess it kind of is. This is kind of like someone who's scared of the zombie apocalypse and someone who doesn't trust the government, I guess. It's kind of a mixture of that. And I get that some people are like that in real life, so, you know, I thought I'd do a build around it. And then I thought, wow, maybe I'll do a garage, and then not turn it into a garage. So yeah, there's a lot that happens in this build. I'm not gonna lie, a lot. And I just keep adding to it and adding to it and adding to it. So basically, everything you could ever need should be in this build, and if it's not, um, well, whoops. Look, there's just so much that happened in this build, and I tried to put a lot of detail into it, hence why this is another very long video. Um, and I don't know, I'm happy with how it turned out. It's not okay. I like to do two styles of builds. I find them very easy and comfortable, and one of them I guess is a very modern kind of build. You know, lots of flat roofs. I would say modern and or I don't want to say industrial. That's kind of what I've lent more into, is a sort of modern industrial type vibe. But now or I wouldn't say now. The second one is kind of grungy, gross, feral type builds, and this kind of borders on that. It is sort of supposed to be like a house that is made completely from scratch by someone who might have some idea of how building a house works, but doesn't have experience in everything. Um, and yeah, when I slowly but surely start adding a bunch of things, you can see that, yeah, I start to add more and more people who live within this build, and yeah, just add like a bajillion different things around that don't necessarily make sense, but it's a doomsday cult basically here, so you know, to them it makes sense. A bunch of rundown cars, a few caravans, and yeah, definitely lots of animals. And I don't think I would even visit here, let alone stay here, but I think some people might appreciate this sort of build vibe. Also, I apologize if I do seem kind of low energy, low effort at the moment. I've been doing lots and lots of work today and keeping on top of things and getting ahead and whatnot, and I kind of forgot to have lunch. I had breakfast, but I've kind of forgotten to have lunch, so I'm a little bit hungry, and that's all my brain can focus on right now, but I'm trying to be um very good and keep on top of things and stuff and things. Um yeah, definitely going to go eat as soon as I'm finished done as soon as I'm finished here, because yeah, I haven't eaten lunch, and I've been very, very good with eating lunch most of this year. Been a couple of days where I have skipped it. One time I wasn't feeling well, my stomach was really unsettled, and so I thought, you know what, just don't upset it. If it's already upset, don't make it worse. And then another time I just got really busy and I had a snack, but I didn't have lunch. So I guess like I still kind of ate. It was little bit late, but yeah. Um, but ever since, yeah, I've been tracking. I've got this to-do list planner, daily planner, to-do list planner type planner thing. How many times can I say planner in a single sentence? I've got this daily to-do list planner. There we go. Where I can put down like my top priorities, my important times, which I forgot to put down an important time. I just keep track of certain things throughout the day, and I forgot to track something. And yeah, it's got like a little, it's got the top 3 priorities of the day, which I've already finished one of them. And then it's got a little like to-do list of I mean, you can split it up however you like. But yeah, top priorities, to-do list. It's got a little note section, which I find good. It's like on the day I felt sick, I'd already written down some things I wanted to do, but then I slowly started feeling sick throughout the day. And so I wrote in that little notes list, like I started feeling sick, so no, didn't do anything, decided to lay down and whatever. When I went out to a restaurant, I wrote down my feelings on the restaurant, so now I can go back and be like, okay, this is how I felt at the time. It's got a little section to track your meals, another little section for your self-care / exercise, and one for how much water intake you have. The water intake one is really kind of cute. It's just 8 little droplets of water, but it's big enough for me to write a letter in it, and that letter is whatever I drank. So every morning, or most mornings, the first water droplet has the letter T, because I have a cup of tea with breakfast. I used to have it for breakfast, but now it's with breakfast. I'm doing really well with that. And then yeah, throughout the day I'll just put like a W for water or whatever. But if I have a milkshake or whatever, or juice or chocolate milk or whatever, I'll put a letter that corresponds to that, so that I can keep track of how much hydration I've had throughout the day. I've not hit all 8 yet, but I've drunk enough, like more than enough, that I haven't been super thirsty for most days of this year already. And I don't know, it's kind of fun and exciting. And you know, with the top priorities of the day, sometimes I will put specific things. Like today was editing not the next video, but I think the one after that. And then 2 builds as my top priorities. But on stream days, especially stream days where I have where I do Pomodoro study sessions, I will write down the sort of headings of the things I want to do under the top priorities. So, you know, I think yesterday I wrote edit shorts and reels, which is when I edit shorts and reels, I just edit the thing once and upload twice, so like 1 to 2 different platforms. And so yeah, in the top priorities it says edit shorts and reels, but in the to-do list I'll actually write down the specific ones that I want to do, and it's I like it. I like the fact that I can go back and see that, like, I've done all these things and I've done those things, and if I've got big projects I can split them up and whatever. It's also got a daily affirmation section, but I've only filled it out I think twice, and I just give myself like one time I just googled random daily affirmation and I found a random quote and just picked that and went with it. And then another day I just put down something that felt was kind of relevant, but yeah, I don't really use that section per se. But I know some people would and would absolutely use that. So yeah, I don't know. It was a fun little diary, journal, planner. What, I don't know. I still don't know the difference between those three things. Like, I'm pretty sure the difference is a diary is like it's got dates in it and you can write down uh okay, usually I feel like diaries are usually split into like over the 2 pages is the week, so you can kind of write down everything you need to do in the week, but sometimes it can be a day-by-day planner. My problem with those is Saturday and Sundays are always smushed together, and I am somebody who, I don't know about you guys, but Saturday and Sunday are 2 different days, and I do a lot on some of those days and I don't do a lot on others, and I don't like the fact that Saturday and Sunday get smushed in this tiny little corner. It drives me up the wall. But then a diary where it's daily can be quite thick and chunky, and not a lot of people like that. I also don't like having times, because if I write down like, okay, I got to do this at this time and that at that time, it stresses me out. It absolutely stresses me out. I mean, I feel like a diary like that would be good for if you have a lot of appointments, or let's say you've got kids and you've got to write down all the different things the kids got to do. I get that, that's fine. But as an individual who has a very, I don't want to say loose workflow, like I don't really know when I'm going to do something. I don't really know how long it's going to take me. I don't know if I'm going to take a huge procrastination break or if I'm going to pick something completely different to do. So I don't like putting times down. Um, so I think that's what I think a diary is, and then I think a journal is like a writing down your thoughts and feelings type thing, which people also call a diary, like dear diary, that sort of thing. A journal, like bullet journals are also journals where you can like personalize it and draw it, and it's got the dots, and you can really make it however you want. I don't have the time for that. I would love to do that, but I do not have the time nor the patience for it, and I'm also a little bit of a perfectionist. I would spend way too long trying to perfect it and then get so mad when it wasn't perfect. Um, so that doesn't do well for me. But a planner, which is what I think that works for me because it's pre-set up, but it's undated, which is the most important thing to me. And it's got all these different little sections so that I can record all these different little things, and I love it. Yeah, see, the problem with um dated things is I don't journal diary plan every day. I don't do it every day. I do it most days, but I don't do it every day. And sometimes there could be a stretch where I don't do it for an entire month. And when it's dated, that is so much paper wasted, and it upsets me greatly to have things like that where I'm wasting so much paper. So I don't really do that anymore. I've had one like that, and I did use it quite a lot. It was very handy because it was actually a family planner diary. I don't know if it was a planner or it was a bit of both. It was um a week set out on across 2 pages, but it had I think it was the days down the side maybe. And then it's supposed to have like the people across the top so that you could, or the spaces across the top for you to write the people's names, so that you could be like, okay, on Monday, Jimothy has ballet lessons, and Gregor has a dentist appointment or whatever. Like you could put it in each person's thing so you could see how busy each person was. But I split it up between my uni classes and my Sims stuff. So I think it had 6 spaces. So I at max I was doing 4 classes. Minimum I was doing 3. So I'd usually take up that much. And then yeah, the other two, one of them would be Sims related things. One of them would be personal. And if I had a space left for the last one, I would use it for writing, but I didn't write all that often. So honestly, that section didn't get used all, but the rest of it did. And I would go through and highlight all the things once I'd finished them. So when I was flicking back, you could see how much stuff I'd actually done, and it was really, really enjoyable. I really liked it. But yeah, like I said, there was like a couple of there's a probably maybe like 2 months overall, probably 3 if I'm thinking about it. Actually, 3 where I didn't use it at all because I was on break at uni, or uni got too stressful, and instead of trying to plan and organize, I was just stressed doing everything, and trying to get as much stuff as I could done. And yeah, it just made me a little upset that I wasted so much paper. Um, which, I mean, you could argue that using a diary in general is wasting paper, but I do keep my diaries and journals and stuff like that when they're done, so I can go back through them and see what I've done, what I've achieved. I can be like, oh wow, like, okay, clearly this was a time where I wasn't doing well, and then I can think back to like what was happening around that time, and it kind of helps me understand myself a bit better and figure out stress levels and stresses and things like that. Because sometimes, you have moments where you're like, okay, I'm doing really, really bad right now, and I can't figure out why. But then if you look back through your history, you might be like, oh, well, this time every year kind of sucks. Not for any particular reason, but maybe it's just purely timing. Maybe it's purely winter blues or something like that. Like it could be anything you could imagine. So I don't know. I find it very helpful and handy to see where I do well and where I don't. And it's also handy for me to see where I drop off. Because January I do pretty well. I reckon February probably as well, but I don't know where I officially drop off. But the fact that I can go back and look at my diaries and journals and stuff like that definitely does help, that I can be like, oh, well, okay, it's officially these months that I don't do well or drop off. I also think there's a whole section here that needs to be deleted. Yeah, it does. Because I think it just goes over the same thing. So I'm just going to quickly delete that, and you'll have no idea what section I'm talking about because I would have just deleted it, which makes this video a little bit shorter, which is fantastic. But anyway, yeah, it makes it shorter by like 5 minutes. That's great. I don't have to ramble and rant for 5 more minutes. I am honest. I'm honest. I will be honest with you guys. I did not plan ahead with this video in terms of like writing things down to talk about, which I should have. It's a longer video. I also apologize if there was just a random cut. I did just delete a whole section without fully looking at it to make sure that it makes sense. But I think it was just a repeat of me doing some last minute landscaping outside. But anyway, yeah, I was saying with the schedule, I know I do pretty well in January, probably February too. And I say probably February too because of the fact that February for me is so busy that I have to keep on top of things. I stream almost every single day in February, and up until this year, it was the first time I'd done videos consecutively like that. Because normally I would do 2 videos a week, but now I'm doing a video every single day except for 2 days this entire year, which is incredibly stressful, but also incredibly exciting. I think, I don't know, I'm doing pretty well. Normally when I commit to stuff like this, like the A to Z challenge, I fall so far behind, but I've done the A to Z challenge a couple of times now that I feel confident enough that I feel like I could go through and get a bunch of it done. Like I know how to handle that much work. And now that, yeah, I don't have uni, I've got much more time to dedicate to this project. And yeah, I'm finding a good little rhythm here where I am doing a bunch of builds and then I'll get a chunk of builds done and then I'll do a chunk of editing and then I'll do a chunk of voicing and just go back and forth between the 3. And yeah, I don't know, it's good because it means like that earlier this week when I wasn't feeling well, I could just take the day off and you guys would have no clue. I am meant to be recording 1 video a day, but at the moment I'm doing a couple of videos a day and then not doing recording videos for a couple of days and then doing a couple of videos a day. So I'm gonna see if I can try and get back into the habit of doing, or I say get back into the habit, get into the habit of doing 1 a day. So that, yeah, in the morning I can get up, have some breakfast, come do a video, upload it, go do what I need to do for the rest of the day and keep going. But yeah, for the moment, I'm also not too mad at doing a couple of videos a day. I think I will do another voiceover today, but probably towards the end of the day. But also knowing me, by the time I get to the end of the day, I'm just gonna want to edit and build. We'll see. We'll see. This is why I also want to edit and record videos earlier in the morning, because if I do need to do another one, I can do one later in the day and not be constrained by the fact that I'm tired and don't want to do it later that night. So yeah, I don't know. It's been good little process, and especially with studying, with streaming, I've been doing a lot of Pomodoro styled sessions, 50 minutes of work and then 10 minutes of relaxation and rest. And it's been really, really good. I've only done it twice this week, and in those 2 streams, which would probably equate to 14 hours, 13 hours, I have gotten 2 weeks worth of editing done for shorts, and maybe a week and a half for videos, and I've uploaded almost all of the shorts. So, you know, we're doing really, really well here. I'm pretty happy and pretty impressed with the little process we've got going on. So yeah, if you want to check out my Twitch, it is linked down below. It should be, I don't remember if it's above or below all the packs below, and what packs and kits were used in this build. Because I do keep all of that down in the description. Yeah, if you would like to see that, definitely check that out. It is free to just come and hang out and watch. But yeah, you'll get to see either live builds, or you'll get to see like come hang out on variety games, or yeah, the Pomodoro sessions, which absolutely fantastic. I'm so glad that I've done them. I'm not too sure about how my schedule in the future is going to go, but I'm definitely keen on doing more Pomodoro styled sessions because they're just so relaxing and I get so much done and I don't lose my voice because I'm streaming for like 6 hours straight and talking that entire time. With the Pomos though, I do generally talk for the last hour so that I'm not going insane by myself. That's when I start to lose motivation and effort. So yeah, I do start chatting and it's alright. I think it does help me through the last hour, but the first couple, if I do start talking, I'm not gonna get anything done. And we generally do 4 to 5 sessions. That's my aim, is 4 as a minimum of 4, but we've gotten to 5 or 6. So, you know, if you do need to get some stuff done, definitely check out my Twitch. I don't know if I'll be increasing my schedule, decreasing my schedule, probably not decreasing. I stream 4 times a week. I don't know if increasing I could handle at the moment, but yeah, I definitely do enjoy it. It's definitely very fun and relaxing to be able to get some stuff done and play some games and whatnot with you guys. But if you're just interested in watching YouTube videos, that's absolutely understandable. I purely used to watch YouTube videos. That's like all I ever used to watch. And then I found Twitch, and then I started watching some people, and I really didn't leave that little bubble. I stayed within whoever I started watching, but now I'm kind of like going out and exploring and finding more people and you know, if I chat with people in a stream where I know the streamer and I like the streamer, I'll follow them and then go hang out and chat with them and their streams, and it's a good little community to have. And then I've made some really good friends over there. So yeah, it's pretty fun. We did this build over on Twitch. In fact, this was the second build I'd done for the day. So I'd done the previous build, the previous video, that build on stream, and then we did this one as well the same day. So yeah, normally when I stream these builds, I do like 2 or 3 a day, depending on how big they are or how much energy I have. And usually it's 2, because I normally run out of steam by the end of the second one. But I'm hoping to get a few more builds smashed out in the future over on stream. And so yeah, if you want to see stuff like that, definitely check that out. But yeah, don't worry about if you don't have time for it or if you don't want to or whatever. All of the builds that get done there get uploaded here. I think there's maybe like 2 builds that I've done in the past that maybe haven't, but I think they've been off stream actually, so I don't think anyone's missed out on them. But anyway, we are very much close to the end here. If you like this and my ramblings, make sure to subscribe. I'm out with a new video almost every day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys!